Mission Impossible deserves it. It's so fucking good. I just don't really have any complaints about this movie, aside from like two very minor ones that I can't really get into because it's kind of spoilery, but I'll just say they involve plot convenience moments where I feel like they were so focused on delivering a really cool action moment, but then ended up kind of backing themselves into a bit of a corner. And in order to kind of salvage the situation, they needed to pull from their ass a little deep to get out of that situation, even though it doesn't really make a ton of sense how it happened. That's about the most I can say without getting into spoilers, but it's not a big deal. Like, that's a nitpick. Like, if I was really going to look for something negative, it's just there were a couple instances of where I felt like they didn't really write something super cohesive on how they get out of this situation. They just kind of do because they needed to. They're the fucking heroes. And even though I do like the villain, I think he wasn't super fleshed out here, and it really feels like they reached a bit in order to connect him to Ethan's past in a way that felt kind of like an afterthought almost. But it's not a big deal because I do think Gabriel, the main villain, like the main villain outside of like the evil AI potential, like I do still think he was cool. Like I think he was like a good villain to have. Every time he was on screen, I felt like this is a big threat moment. This is going to turn into some shit. It's about to go tits up real quick. And Gabriel has a subordinate named Paris who's just a badass. She like fights with a sword. Like it feels like she was a character out of John Wick. It's like it actually is really just cool. There's nothing in this movie that isn't just really cool. So yeah, anyway, I think this is a must-watch movie. Plugging Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 into the Moist Meter, I'm giving it a comfortable 95%. I really hope Part 2 sticks to landing. I do hope they give a little bit more to Gabriel in particular. I would like to see that, but I imagine that is the plan considering this is only half of the story they want to tell. And I think they've already done a great job with it. So yeah, I think it's fantastic, and that's about it. So yeah. Huge thanks to ourselves for sponsoring this Moist Meter. Godslap is a comic series written by myself, Jackson, Matt, Danny, and Aubrey Sitterson. It follows the story of a character named Ace, who's an extremely powerful slapper in a world where slapping is king. Issue 3 just dropped. It's all available at badegg.co, and shit is starting to pop off. Ace is being hunted by a mysterious foe named Defister, who after swan diving through a hospital, picks up Ace's trail and hunts him to the ends of the earth with his sidekick Olfactor. And also, our newest comic series, Plague Seeker, just came out. Issue 0 is available at badegg.co. It's written entirely by myself and edited by Jackson. It's set in a world 1,000 years after an apocalyptic event known as the Calamity. An asteroid hits Earth, and it brought with it mutations that changed all of its inhabitants. Now the world is infested with things called plagues, and atop the food chain sits 8 great plagues that control the entire world, and only one man stands against them, the Plague Seeker, who has an insatiable appetite to devour those 8 great plagues. So all of this is available at badegg.co, so please check it out.